Always need a hug. Funny thing is, as I'm sitting there, a thought occurred to me. And it kept occurring to me. And that thought is, they saved the best for last. And I'm standing up here first, right? So anyway, there are hundreds of thousands of books and stories throughout the ages and time. And what those storytellers did is they wrote about a certain character. And that is the character that is noble, they're courageous, they're valiant. And that character is the hero. You see, a hero is that individual that emerges in a time of crisis in order to save the life or the lives of those in peril. You see, I think they were onto something when they created a character in the hero. They understood that they could reach a lot of people because we all have one thing in common. And that is the spirit of humanity. It is in the spirit of humanity that we find the strength and the courage to recover. There are 22 plus million people out there right now recovering. And if we look into their stories, we will find one constant, and that is a hero. And I would know because there are several heroes in my story. And if you guys don't know my history, I am a 13-time convicted felon. I've been to prison twice. And I've been to jail so many times that my mind cannot even grasp an accurate figure. You see, throughout my addiction, every single person in my life left. And they left believing that my life was no longer salvageable. And in those darkest moments, as I sat in a 6x9 cell, I too began to believe that my life was not salvageable. But fate, right, has an ornery way of making these decisions for us. You see, sitting in jail with 6 felonies and 2 jurisdictions and a violation in another, my track record would prove that I should be doing 4 to 5 years in prison. Somehow, some way, only through grace, on August 17, 2016, I walked out of Henrico County Jail into the drug court program. Now, we hear a lot of different things about drug court, right? We hear it's a setup. The people there are out to get us. But the funny part about that is that those people are usually the ones that have been terminated from the program. They asked me to do some very simple things that normal people probably wouldn't have a problem with. Getting a job. Show up, be punctual, be honest. And my time in drug court did not go without error. I relapsed 3 times. On that 3rd time, I was sitting in a men's process group on Thursday night. February 8th. And as I sat in there high, it came around the circle. There's a thing they do in drug court. It's called a feelings and focus check. And by the time it got around to me, the facilitator, Bernard Green, looked at me and he said, "Tim, you look like shit, man. Something about you is not sitting right with my spirit. What's going on? Be honest with me." And in that moment, the shame and the guilt I didn't have the courage in that moment to be honest in front of peers and in front of people. So when that meeting was over, I followed him into his office. And I said, "You're right, Bernard. I've been using. Help me out. What do I do?" He looked me in my eyes and he says, "I'm not going to tell you. You already know what to do. Every time I tell an addict what they should do, you're just going to do what the hell you want to do anyway." And I don't know why, right? But in that moment of my life, I am 38 years old. I do not have a vehicle. I do not have my own house. I got a job at Denny. I was at a crossroads in my recovery. So me and him went back and forth for a little while, and I said, "Please, tell me. I need to know what to do." Because making that decision by myself was too hard. Finally, Bernard said, "Tim, call Miss Johnson. That's my probation officer. Tell her the truth. Tell her you need help." I left out of there about 7:15 that night. And I followed that suggestion. You see, Bernard was one of those guys that when you saw him walk, everything he did in his life was passionate. Passionate for people like me. Everything I had taught myself in addiction, 25 years of addiction, was that these people hated me and wanted to see me locked up. Not true. Because when I followed that suggestion and Miss Johnson gave me a call the next morning and I looked down at my phone because I don't have the courage to pick it up. I wait for the notification that I have gotten a message and I listen to that message. And she sounded sincere. "What can we do to help you? Please call me back." So I sat there and I debated it. And my addicted mind said, "You can go on the run. You can go on the run and you will make it for a little while." Because everything I had taught myself about me, I hated. And then I heard Bernard's voice in my head. That voice that says, "You're just going to do what the hell you want to do anyway." And anger, because I knew he was right. So I picked up the phone and I called Miss Johnson back. And what she asked me to do was to show up to court. It was not on the day that I was supposed to be there. And when I showed up to court and I got in front of the judge, and I am gripped by fear because I thought they would terminate me from that program. The judge looked at me, looked out at all the participants and said, "Take an example from Mr. Alexander. He did not fail a drug test. He wasn't supposed to be here in court. And he showed up today knowing that he was going to get locked up. From that day on, I remained clean. Not because of my own doing, because I had somebody there that cared enough about me to help me walk through my recovery. And in that recovery, I have met so many heroes. Heroes like John Shinholzer, the Anthony Grimes, the Carol McDays. People that have guided me and shown me how to walk this thing through. Because there was a day in my life that I could not stand on a stage because of the what the solution is, look no further than yourself. Each and every single one of us can save a life. Never underestimate the power in the heart. Never underestimate the power of the human spirit. Be somebody's hero today. Thank you.
McShin Foundation is Virginia's leading peer-to-peer recovery organization. If you or a loved one is struggling with addiction, let us get you connected. We can help you build a solid foundation through recovery. Here at the McShin Foundation, we are committed to healing families and saving lives.